My name is Nick and I'm a senior at Allegheny High School and a former AP Environmental Science student. This is our first of many AP Environmental Science videos, and today we'll be discussing the course at a glance and what to expect throughout a year of advanced placement environmental science. Now, in AP Environmental Science, it is centered around four big ideas, right? Our first one being energy transfer, our second one being interactions between Earth systems, and then interactions between different species in the environment, and lastly, sustainability. So let's break these down a little bit. Energy transfer is a really important topic in APES because it's the foundation on which most environmental and ecological processes take place. Then there are two ideas focused on interactions. These really deal with relationships between natural systems, which are discussing ideas such as nutrient cycles, like your water cycle and your carbon cycle, and then also discussing relationships between organisms and the environment, which includes food chains and webs, as well as all concepts including trophic levels and the idea of producers and consumers. Now, the last big idea is sustainability, which has a heavy emphasis on the effect of climate change and the necessity of conservation to revitalize and maintain our environment. Now, let's move on and talk more about the course units and what they cover. So our first two units cover the living world, as the College Board calls it. These two units deal mostly with topics such as biomes and different ecosystems, and also the biodiversity of said ecosystems and factors that affect them. Now, these units make up a smaller percentage of the exam, but they are crucial for understanding later concepts and are integrated into many other units. Now that moves us on into units 3 through 6. These discuss the usage of resources on Earth, starting with the discussion of population, then a transition into Earth's resources, the use of land and water resources, and finally talking about the consumption of energy. These units give an understanding of finite resources and how a population affects how resources are used or even exploited. Now, units 3 to 6 make up a heavier portion of the exam and make up a majority of the questions on the test. Now we move into units 7 and 8, which tie directly into those last four units, but we've now shifted our focus to pollution, and that pollution that affects land, water, and our atmosphere. These units give a great perspective on resource use and overuse, as well as highlight our big idea of sustainability. They are not as heavily weighted as the last four, but are usually incorporated in the questions about the last four, but through resource and their use. Now, our final unit is a little different from the others because it's not a unit in a traditional sense. This unit encompasses the entire course in a discussion of global change and how all the topics that have been mentioned have an impact on our globe. Okay, now that we've covered our units, let's talk a little bit about the AP exam. When looking at the 2025 score distribution for the AP Environmental Science tests, it shows a 69% pass rate, meaning 69% of the students who took the test scored a 3 or higher. Now, in most schools, APES is taken freshman year, which does skew our distribution to make it seem a little more difficult than it really is. You guys have an advantage of being upperclassmen and having better study techniques, which should help you in the long run. In APES, it's very important to listen to teacher lectures during notes because they provide valuable insight into the course, which would be missed otherwise. I wish you guys the best of luck in your AP Environmental Science class. If you guys have any questions or are struggling with any topics, please use the Google form below and submit topics you'd like us to cover. Thank you.